official. This is the March 25th, 2021 meeting of the Mesa Regal Technology Users Group. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of us in person, and about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 people online. This is our last meeting of this season, and one of our things to do is to elect leadership positions for the next season. So I have written down the proposed slate of positions, and we will accept volunteers from the floor as well. But what we currently have is myself, Scott Lockwood, as president, Judy Jones is vice president. She also serves as our, I don't know if it's coordinator or chair of program coordinator, but she's the one that helps put together speakers for us. Secretary is Alice Peters. Treasurer is Nancy January, who did not come to the park this year, but did say she would be willing to fill that role next year. I've been acting more or less as treasurer for her in the meantime. Our past president is Dennis Priest. Committee chairs, our monitor coordinator is Kathy Bracken. Communications, who is actually an at-large member, is Christy Burke. Program coordinator, as I said, was Judy Jones. Class coordinator, we're hoping to have classes again next year, is Darlene Roth. Technical support, we have 2 people, Dan Crossett and Tom Carnahan. Membership, right now it's just Dorothy Johnson, kind of working in concert with Christy. Christy maintains basically our web or our email list is our de facto membership list, because we didn't actually have members register this season. So next year we get into more in-person meetings. We may return to the regular registration. We have 2 vacant positions. We wanted to have a webmaster. We haven't had anybody to fill that position yet. So if there's somebody that feels they want to be help us with our digital footprint, our social media face, our website, we love to have that kind of support. And Harold Patterson has served very ably as a supply coordinator. And we've been doing this for a few years, where we would take the responsibility of checking in at the computer room, making sure the paper was stocked and the toner and the printers was up to snuff, and advising the office when they needed to buy more. When it came in, they would tell Harold and he would pick it up and store it in the cabinets. He is busy enough that he's not going to be able to continue that. Dan has been kind of doing the work of checking in, and we've been telling the office what's going on for now, but we've advised the office that we won't be doing that after April 15th. And then we would re-evaluate that next fall. We'll see how many members are here and what we can do. But if there's somebody that wants to fill that role, they could speak up. So that's the membership. Does anybody have any questions, comments, suggestions, or volunteer their friends for a position? For those of you online, I'm looking at no hands in the audience, and I see nobody raising their hands out there in Userville. Chuck?
I'm surprised we all didn't hide from our screens even.
Yeah, I expected to see your screen go blank, Chuck. So with that, we'll let that membership set up. Gloria has her hand up. That's good to know, and if we have some really onerous tasks, we'll let you know. Labor intensive, yes. Thank you for the volunteer, Gloria. We appreciate it. Okay.
We didn't hear what Gloria said.
Oh, Gloria volunteered, even though she doesn't live in the park, Kathy, she would volunteer to take any jobs we give her, no matter how disgusting and hard.
And she's bribed us with carrot
And
cake.
she's bribed us with carrot cake.
I think it's, yeah.
Okay, so I'll let those nominations continue by unanimous support. What's the word?
So where does Tom come in?
Tom is going to be the one of two in the tech support. Whatever I said that word was. I think it was tech support. Yeah.
Dennis Helper, yeah. And then webmaster.
The webmaster, yeah. If we don't get somebody to jump into the webmaster thing, we may be leaning on Tom's help to see. And we'll kind of wait till next year as we decide what we're going to do. We are, for those of you who don't know, we're kind of skating on a web server somewhere north of the Arctic Circle. And we used to pay them in cheap liquor from Arizona. We don't know who that person is. The liquor supply has stopped because the person that used to take in the liquor is no longer here, but they continue to host our web. However, the interface is, I should say, a bit awkward. And I don't know, I think Dan may be the only one that still knows how to get into it. And there's some question of whether that's true. So right now it's called Mesa Regal Computer Club. And if you go to the computer labs, that little menu that comes up, that blue and red menu, that is our website, basically. And there is some interesting historical information on there. We haven't done much with that. We could do more in terms of having information provided. So that's kind of what the webmaster would entail. So
Are we gonna vote on these people today?
well, we could tell my phone to shut up. I have a new phone. It doesn't know how to shut up. What we did is by acclamation approved all of them, Chuck, so that you don't have to raise your hand and wave it in front of the camera. Okay. I won't read the entire report. I did compose an annual report to the management and the members. We will forward it out to the members along with the report on this week. But I'll give you the gist that we have met since early January. We've had speakers, great speakers that Judy got for us. They've been very interesting. And we've been averaging about 10 people in person and about 10 people online. So we're doing okay given the current situation. Our membership list is approximately, and I'll ask Christy later to give me an exact number. I couldn't get my computer up. About 150 people on the mailing list. We have a bank balance of about $3,000. We had very little expenses this year. We had about $250 of expenses and no income. So we had plenty of carryover money that we could dispense with registering for this year. And that's kind of the whole report. But as I said, as soon as I get the details, I'll forward it out to the rest of the board or the rest of the membership. With that, let me get into our presenter for today. You might have heard the expression cutting the cord and wondered what's that about. We've even had a person in the park who has a little presentation with that same title. I have no idea whether Rob Truman's presentation will be similar to his, but some of us in some way or another have probably already started cutting the cord in terms of how we used to connect and how we are now connecting. So with that, I want to turn it over to Rob Truman and let him regale us with how to cut the cord and why you would want to do such a thing. And I'd ask everybody, so I don't have to do it. Oh, Chuck.
What do you get on?
Put your clothes on. And maybe you want to turn off your camera. Yeah.
It's not time for that yet.
Not time. That's later. Okay, you're on. Everybody mute, please.
Okay, is everybody hear me okay? I'm coming, fine. All right. I appreciate the introduction, Scott. We'll get right into this. So let me share my screen. And you should be seeing a presentation screen now. Okay, cord cutting. Personally, I've been doing this probably, more years than I care to count. I started using Netflix and when they were still primarily a DVD rental service. So, not Netflix, but anyway. So we will kind of take you through this. I'm going to try and give you kind of a top-down look, some of the different things you may want to take into consideration before making the jump. As Scott said, probably a lot of you are already doing this to some respect. If you're watching videos online, then you are doing some sort of cord cutting already. So again, this will be an introduction to currently how to receive entertainment using your existing internet connection. The reason I went this direction was I figured I was paying for internet anyway, so why would I want to pay for cable on top of it? And I've always had a problem with cable TV because I thought the concept of paying for TV was so I didn't have to watch commercials. Well, obviously that doesn't mean anything. So what does it mean? In its simplest terms, it means no longer subscribing for long-term contracts and getting TV from an alternative source. Some of you, that may mean not paying for TV at all and just using an antenna. And that's perfectly fine, and of course you can rent DVDs and do all that same stuff that we've been doing for years. And others, you may be paying for TV services such as Sling TV, YouTube TV, Hulu, Netflix, and the list goes on and on. So are you going to miss anything? Well, over half, the stats basically say that over half of people who cut the cord miss nothing. So a lot of this will depend on your individual viewing wants and desires. If they miss anything, it's live events, local and national news, and of course sports. Now, it used to be sports was just not going to happen. That also has changed here over the past years. I will tell you one thing, that cord cutting is extremely fluid and it's changing almost daily depending on the services available, pricing, equipment, so forth and so on. It's not always about saving money. That seems to be the reason most people do it, to get into it. It's also about having choices, and being able to have, not being tied down to one service provider. People will do this to save money, greater portability, no contracts. That seems to be a big one, I think, for most people. The other one, no equipment fees. So you don't have to rent anything. And there's basically no hidden costs. This is a little chart I put together, kind of a breakdown, and it kind of goes through a comparison between streaming TV and cable TV. And first thing you're going to probably notice is that the number of channels is going to be extremely less. Personally, I don't need 150 channels, because I can only watch one channel at a time. Streaming devices, basically you pick those up depending on what your configuration, and they're a one-time fee. So you're actually buying the equipment. The good thing is there's no hidden fees. Okay? No taxes, no excise fee, no community taxes, no state taxes, no city taxes, none of that. So what is streaming? It's a way of receiving data, video or audio, over a computer network. And it's a continuous flow that allows for accessing a piece of data while the rest is still being downloaded. Okay, so you don't have to download, say, a movie and then wait till the movie's fully downloaded to watch. You're able, with the advent of streaming, you are able to watch it as it is currently being downloaded to your machine. That's it. You can start watching video while the rest of it is still loading. You don't need to decompress it or save it first. Primarily three types of programming. Okay, you have live programming, sporting events, concert, news, so forth and so on. Then you have linear. Linear is the traditional television programming system. Scheduled broadcasts that they come on at a particular time in your particular locale. Then you have on demand. This is the new guy on the block. Netflix, Amazon Prime, so forth. And then you have a combination of any of the above for hybrid. Most of you will need a streaming media player. Now, if you have a smart TV, most of those, there's already apps kind of built into those. My definition of a smart TV is a TV that I can connect to the internet. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of difference between a smart and non-smart TV. The other difference is smart TVs come with apps pre-installed. And you can pick up a smart TV probably, depending on the screen size. I mean, I'm sure even a lot less than $199. So then you have Roku media players, Amazon Fire TV, Amazon Fire Sticks, Apple TV, and of course anything with Apple's name on it costs more money. Then Google Chromecast and Miracast, I will talk a little bit more about later, but they're not the typical streaming device. One advantage media players by smart TVs is that media players are small and compact and portable. When I travel, I take a streaming device with me. I'll take one of my little Roku sticks with me, and I'm in the hotel. I'll plug it into the back of the TV in the hotel, hook it up to their Wi-Fi network, and I basically have the same thing I would have at home. Probably the biggest chore, if you decide to do this, that you're going to go through is picking a service. I encourage you to think about shows and not channels. Now, I did send someone in your group an email with a handout. Hopefully you will get that accordingly. And Scott just raised his hand, so I'm sure he'll be sending that out to you. So all these links that are in this presentation are on that handout, along with some other resources as well. So what this website does is allows you to go down, find your favorite channels, and then find out what streaming services they happen to be streaming on. Yep, shows, not channels. JustWatch.com, you can go to this website and type in whatever program you're looking to watch, and it will tell you if and where it's being streamed on. Very good website.
What's the difference between those two then?
The first one, is going to be talking about channels. And these are your typical cable syndicated channels. And then it's going to show you what services those channels are covered under. Okay, so I'm looking for A&E. And it'll tell me it's on Sling TV, it's on YouTube TV, so any of those subscription services provide access to this channel. This one, I can go in and say, well, I want to watch, I don't know, LA Law. Is it being streamed anywhere? I can put in a movie, you know. Is it being streamed anywhere? And if so, do I have to pay for it or is it free? Okay, a little bit of difference there. A lot of different options. Okay, these are just some of the more common streaming services out there. These are not, most of these are not subscription services that are going to provide you a cable replacement service. These are stream on demand type services. So Hulu, Netflix, HBO Now, YouTube, so forth as we move on. Roku claims to have over 8,000 television channels just in the United States that you can subscribe to. Some are paid, some are free. But one thing, they all want your money. A little bit about cable replacement services, and it's just they are just what the name says. They are there designed to replace your cable and will provide you a lot of the same services that you are currently getting with a cable subscription, with the exception that I don't have to sign up for long-term contracts. I don't have to rent equipment. I don't have to do any of this. And these are probably the most notable ones. And from what I've heard, most people seem to go with either Sling or YouTube TV. Fubo TV is very sports centric, a lot of sports. So and I guarantee you they all have some sort of DVR service included with them, or you can pick up extra. And they all range various how many channels they provide. And they all have a free trial.
Can I comment on one of them?
Sure.
This is Chuck Borcher. I tried to get AT&T TV for a full month. They were never able to distribute it within my house reliably unless I bought at least one, and they probably needed more, extenders. And I live in a rather small ranch house.
Okay. Again, that's a great point. And this is all going to be dependent on your internet service. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how much speed you need to do this efficiently. And I think you're going to be surprised. It's not that fast. Okay, now again, I'm not a big fan of AT&T, so I mean, I'll just put that out there for you right now. I find YouTube TV or Sling seems to be works a lot better, but it all is going to boil down to your internet service provider. Don't forget Amazon Prime Video channels. Not only if you are a Prime member, not only can you just watch those movies and shows that are included with Prime, you can also subscribe to premium channels through Amazon Prime. And they range at about $5 a month and upwards. Public library. There's a couple apps, Hoopla Digital and Canopy, that you can check out movies, shows, not to mention the standard ebooks, so forth and so on, through the public library system. I don't know about Mesa Public Library, but I know Maricopa County Library works with both of these apps. So. You do need a library membership, and there are limits. I believe Maricopa is 10, you can check out 10 items a month of any combination of items when it comes to streaming media. But Maricopa County's got some, I highly recommend, and I don't know if you've had guest speakers from there before, but they do a really great job, and they got all kinds of different services that are available to you. So we'll give them a little bit of a plug. Local channels. Few antenna facts. One, broadcast signals are superior to cable or satellite. There's no signal compression. All the major networks transmit signals free over the air. There are channels and subchannels. There's been a little bit of talk here lately about the subchannels, but currently each channel, i.e. channel, say 8, there will also be up to 4 subchannels. This all kind of changed when TV stations went from an analog to a digital transmission system. AntennaWeb.org. Great website. Go up there, you plug in your address, and it will show you all the channels you should be able to receive at your location, and it will show you where the antennas are located around here. Most of them are on the mountain, so. And again, hills, trees, buildings, they all bend signals. An antenna signal is a line of sight signal, so your reception will differ. There is no such thing as a magic antenna. Okay, there is no such thing as an HD antenna. That's all just marketing verbiage. An antenna is an antenna. So when you see ads like this, that's not going to do anything for you. Most antennas are going to, depending, and antennas, being an old Navy person who worked with high frequency signals, antennas are going to get reception based on how tall the antenna is from the ground, and that will increase the range. So, keeping in mind, if 1,180 miles, if this thing actually worked the way it says it works, I should be able to be picking up antennas from anything within that circle. And that's just not going to happen. Or you can go the simple route, the old-fashioned way. Go out to the kitchen, grab some tin foil, and just go crazy with it. Short little video.
All right, today we're going to show you how to take an ordinary paperclip and we're going to make a digital antenna out of it. Now, if you live pretty far away out of town, this may not work for you, but if you live pretty close to where you could at least pick up something, this should work. So you just bend it into sort of a, I don't know, something that looks about like that. It really, the shape doesn't matter. Then you take this and you put it in the back of your TV, and I'll show you. So we're going to do that now. So you come back here to where the coax connection is, which is that one right there. And then you just put this in place. Just like that. And then you come back to the front of the TV And you can see we now have a picture. And depending on how you move your TV also will affect the signal, because now your TV is part of the antenna. So if you move it back and forth, you may find that in some areas you'll pick up different channels or something like that. It's just a small, cheap way to create a digital antenna. Good luck. Have fun watching TV.
Rob, somebody in the room here has a comment
Sure.
wants to make on antennas.
Go ahead.
Antenna. It's about a foot long with a long cord.
I can't hear her, so someone's gonna have to repeat it.
We give her a microphone.
I got
Okay.
a little stick antenna from Bits and Bytes Computers in Apache Trail, and it has a long coax cable, so I can put it anywhere in my room. But I find if I put it at just the one spot, I get 56 channels right here in Mesa at Greenfield in Maine, where I live.
Yep, not surprising. Okay. In fact, if you're looking to use an antenna, okay, and I've done it before in my own house. I reckon, you can take an old coaxial cable, plug it into your back of your TV, see what you get. If that's not kind of giving you what you're looking for, take a trip down to Walmart or wherever your favorite big box store is and pick up a $20 antenna. At least that way, if you get it home and then it's not performing to the level you want, then you can always take it back. Now, the other option that you have is there's a service called Locast. Locast started in New York. They stream local channels. Now, after years of lawsuits and various stuff, they turned into a nonprofit. So they're free. Okay. The free version, of course, you get pop-ups. All right. But for $5 a month or a $60 a year donation, then you can use their service. I currently use this for my local channels. There's 38 channels for the Phoenix area, and works great. Well, okay, Cloud DVR. Each one of these cable replacement services provides a certain amount of cloud DVR services. Works the same way as having a DVR box in your home, except what you're recording is stored in the cloud. As you'll see that what some of them provide for free may not have all the features that you want, but they're always happy to sell you extra. So one of the things, and I think one of the reasons YouTube TV is so popular is they have unlimited storage on their cloud DVR. Doesn't cost anything extra, and it will store programs for a maximum of 9 months before it starts removing things to put on new content. Sharing, is it okay? YouTube TV. If you purchase a YouTube TV membership, you can create a family group and share your membership with up to 5 people. Netflix, and this has been in the news lately too. Your account is for personal and non-commercial use only and may not be shared with individuals beyond your household. But now we get into the conversation of what's my household. Does my household include my kids that live down the street or in Tucson? Probably Netflix definition is no. My definition is yes. So we'll see how this all plays out in the courts as we move forward. Tips and tricks. 6 steps. Choose your antenna device, whether you're going to use, get your local channels streamed or you're going to use a physical antenna. Make your list of gotta haves. This is important. Sit down and figure out what you really need. Do your research. Don't forget to do all the free trials. And the reason you're doing the free trials is not just to watch the channels, it's also to check out the user interface for that particular service. Because some user interfaces, to me, are more user-friendly than others. Choose your viewing device. You're going to use a smart TV? Am I going to use a Roku stick? Am I going to go with Fire TV? Then you can call the cable company. And then you can calculate your savings. Sports. All of these cable replacement services provide some sort of sports. You just have to check out each one and see if you're getting what you're looking for. Then you can also subscribe to all of these other specialty channels with a subscription service. And of course, if you're looking for local sports, NASCAR, PGA, things of this nature, most of those are put out on local channels. My best advice, don't rush into it. To only subscribe when you need it. So if there's a program, or let's say there's a series coming on HBO that you want to see, well, then subscribe to HBO. The longest you're going to have to subscribe is 30 days. And then when you're done watching that, cancel it. And then there might be something on Showtime you want. Well, subscribe to that. And when you're done watching that content, cancel that. But the max you have to subscribe to anything with any of these services is 30 days, 1 month. Don't overpay for internet. Don't necessarily go out and buy more speed on your internet than what you actually need. And do your research. Make this fun, not just, because it can be. So, internet speed. This is a chart that kind of shows you what you need as far as download speed in megabits per second. Now, I'm going to guess that most people probably got a minimum of 15 to 20 megabits per second on their service. If they're getting, or at least that's what you should be. If you have, so I see someone shaking their head, Judy, what are you paying for?
We're in a bit of a rural area and we can only get up to 10.
Or is that what you're paying for, or?
Yeah, that's what we're paying for.
Okay. What I would highly recommend, look at, there's an app called Speedtest, or a website, speedtest.net. Check your speed.
Do it all the time.
But Netflix, you can see that just for standard definition, all you need is 3. So if you're getting 3, you should be able to stream Netflix. Now, of course, Hulu is even less, 1.5. Amazon, 1 megabit per second. So most of these services, now where you come into problems is Wi-Fi speed is always lower than if you're connected through Ethernet. Okay. Also, the placement of your router is going to make a big impact on your internal speed in your house. So you just have to experiment a little bit with this. So how do you hook it up? Got a smart TV? You connect to Wi-Fi, or you connect with an Ethernet cable, either one, just depending on where your router is located and how much cabling you want to run throughout your house. Non-smart TV, you plug in a streaming device and then hook that up to Wi-Fi. And you're pretty much done. Or you can use a streaming device on a smart TV, just your choice. One of the reasons to use a streaming device is that with smart TVs, they have apps that are pre-installed or preloaded. So when a new app comes out or a new service comes out, it may take a while for Samsung or whatever the TV manufacturer is to upgrade their apps. With a streaming device like Roku or Amazon Fire, those get pretty updated pretty quick. So you have access to some of the more recent additions to the streaming landscape. And believe me, that landscape is changing rapidly. The easiest way to do this, just take an HDMI cable out of the back of a laptop and hook it up to your TV. And you are good to go. So anything now that I can put on my laptop, I will now be watching on my large screen TV. There's also such thing as wireless screen mirroring. Most TVs have this built in, most modern, latest TVs. Most mobile devices are capable of doing this. But not all devices play well together. So again, you're going to have to test it and see what works the best for you.
With so many video streaming services available, there's always something new and great to watch. Unfortunately, it can get annoying watching movies, TV shows, and other videos on a small computer screen. If you've dealt with this, we're here to help. I'm Jessica from techboomers.com. In this video, we're going to tell you about 4 ways to connect your computer to your TV screen to stream movies, TV shows, and other videos. Now let's get started. The first method is to use an HDMI cable to connect your computer to the TV. This method of connecting your computer and television is one of the easiest. It requires only one cable to stream high-quality video and audio from your computer to your TV. Best of all, HDMI cables are the same on both ends, so it doesn't matter which end goes into which device's HDMI input. The second method you can use to stream video from your computer on your TV is with the Bluetooth connection. Some televisions have Bluetooth capability built in, and almost all computers have Bluetooth function. This method allows you to wirelessly connect your TV screen to your computer. The third method you can use to stream video on your TV from your computer is using a VGA cable. If you have an older computer or TV, this method can be used as an alternative to HDMI. If you also want to stream audio through your TV, you'll need an auxiliary audio cable in addition to a VGA cable to send audio signal from your computer to your TV. The last way we'd recommend streaming shows and movies from the internet to your TV is by using another device like a game console or internet TV box. If your TV doesn't have Wi-Fi capability, you can use one of these devices to sort of transform your TV into a smart TV. This way, you don't necessarily need to connect your computer to your television at all. Some examples of devices like this are Xbox, PlayStation, Wii, or Roku boxes. Now that we've talked about ways you can connect your computer to your television, we're going to provide you with a few tips you may find helpful when going through the process. Number 1. Depending on the input and output ports that your computer and television have available, the type of connecting cables you can use will vary. Before purchasing any of these cables, have a look at the plugins on both devices to see what options are available to you. Ensure you're purchasing the correct kind of cable for the connection method you'd like to use. Number 2. Once you've connected your computer to your television, whether using a cord or wirelessly, you'll likely need to change the input source on your TV in order to see what's on your computer on your television screen. Click the source button on your TV or its remote to change the input source. Play around with these settings until you find the right one. Number 3. Getting your computer connected to your television and making sure the settings are set up properly can take a while to complete. The process may be a little long and frustrating,
I lost
but
track
try
of my
your best
volume.
to stick it out and be patient.
I
You'll
don't
be
know
all
whether
set to watch shows and movies soon enough.
they can hear me or not. Oh.
That's it for this video.
Looks like we had some audio issues. Everybody still hear me okay? Okay. So anyway, here's, this is what I pay per year. Okay, now you may notice that I don't subscribe to YouTube TV. I don't care about cable channels. I mean, I would rather get poked in the eye with a sharp stick than have to watch a commercial. So I tend to do mostly pay-per-view or, you know, view on demand, which I'm perfectly happy with. You can also just do a trim instead of a full cut. You know, and I'll make one point here is if you can go on your laptop or your computer and you can do one of these trials and you're able to stream that content okay, then you will be able to go the full route and do this on your TV as well. So, but you can stick with a basic cable contract and then just add stuff to it and supplement that and see if that saves you the kind of savings you're looking to accomplish. I encourage you, this is my website. That's my email address. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them for you. This information is also on that handout, which I'm sure Scott will get out. There's all kinds of resources up there. Feel free. Like I say, this should be fun and it shouldn't have to be, don't stress about it, you know, and see what you can come up with, you know, because each one of you will have a different viewing habits or wants, desires, and nobody's going to be the same on this. So I will open this up for questions.
Okay, I want to start. There are several hands in the room, but since I'm sitting in front of this, I'll jump in. A comment about YouTube TV that I enjoy is when I set it up from my hometown in Montana. So for, I think it's 90 days, if it continues to think I'm in Helena, Montana, so I can watch local news back home and see what's going on. However, after 90 days, if I don't log on to a device in Helena, it will send me a note saying, wait a minute, we think you're in the wrong place and want me to change. But that's something that I enjoy about YouTube TV. Want to know if you had any comments on that.
Yeah, what I'm going to say is beyond the scope of what we're talking about today. You could probably maintain that by using a VPN.
Right, I thought about that. I also thought about having my sister just go over, I've got an extra phone at home and log on once to YouTube TV just to let it know that I'm there.
Yeah, you can use a VPN. In fact, I use a VPN occasionally. I like watching Canadian TV. Okay, but I wasn't able to subscribe to CBC. Is that what it is? Yeah, I think it is. Because I live in the United States. Well, I can use a VPN to do geo-spoofing, so the CBC website thinks I'm connecting from a Canadian location. I'm able to subscribe, and now I can go up and watch whatever I want on their website.
All right, thanks for that idea. We had some hands in the room, and then I'll go to people online.
Okay.
All right, so what I'm seeing is things like Amazon Prime are coming up with channels, and that's an extra price, and they take off that content that you've had previously on Amazon Prime and put it in a channel. And then if you see that show and click on it, it'll say, yeah, you can have this free for 7 days, but then you have to join the channel. And particularly, I want to ask about, there's something called Discovery Channel and Paramount Channel. And what do you know about those? What's their relationship in the new world?
Okay, well, Discovery Channel is the Discovery Channel. Okay, I mean that's just the old Discovery Channel that's been around, and I don't recall who actually is there, who owns them off the top of my head. Now, Paramount used to be CBS All Access, but they've changed their name. Okay, and CBS All Access is a real popular streaming service, you know, especially if you're a Star Trek junkie. But I'm just saying, you know, so they're now changed their name. A lot of their pricing has stayed pretty much the same. But again, you can get now. I'll comment on your Amazon. Primarily, what Amazon has done is they're showing you content based on some of their subscriptions that you can join. You know, so I can use my Amazon subscription to join HBO if I want. Again, but they're all 30-day subscriptions. You know, so I'm not forced to sign up for a 6-month or 1-year, you know, contract to get a particular price. So
Right. I wanted to comment on that as well. Amazon does both own their own content and rent content. And so the rented content, you have no idea. It's coming free. It's not a subscription. But when you're getting it, you have no way of knowing how long you're going to get it. So we started watching a 7-year series of Everwood. I got like 6 or 7 episodes in, and it stopped being available. And I contacted Amazon, and they said, well, we rented that for X amount of time from the owners of that content, and we no longer have that. We may bring it back. And there's no way of knowing when you get involved in a particular series of whether or not that content on Amazon particularly will continue to be there. We ended up having to go subscribe to HBO Max for $6 a month to finish out what we are watching. So it was one of those things that, yeah, you can do it for a month or two and then you can kill the HBO Max. They're hoping that I'll find enough things on HBO Max that I want to keep it. But that is a warning. Just because you see it today doesn't mean it's going to be there tomorrow.
that's true. But then again, neither are we.
That's true. That's true. The other thing I would say is that some items appear to be there, and you go to watch it, and it comes a little message say, for $1.99 you can actually watch this movie, or $3.99 if you want to see it in high def.
What I would suggest for, you know, again, this is, a lot of people don't like this at all. You know, they would just much rather prefer, you know, I want to have one bill. I want all my services to come that way. And that's perfectly fine. If you're going to do these types of connections or these types of services, then being flexible is the probably operative word here. Right. You know, don't get locked into something that, you know, you can't, you know, move on to something else. Now, the upside of that is you got more content to choose from than, you know, you ever imagined possible. So, I mean, I was sitting there watching WKRP in Cincinnati on some channel that you know, goes way back. Yeah. But, you know, and so it's just kind of, you know, you got to give it a little give and take.
I don't know about others, but I've finally kept a notepad near where I sit. So when I see a show that I'm enjoying, I write down what streaming service I'm using, because I've subscribed to about 7. And when I said, where was that WKRP again? Was that on Amazon or YouTube TV? So it is becoming a chore as opposed to just having a single venue, whether it's a satellite dish or a cable box, to remember where you saw that show.
See, and to me, the other great thing about this is I'm no longer tied to a clock.
Right. The DVR is excellent because once you set it up, you know, you don't have to worry about whether you're home from the tennis match to catch, I should say, General Hospital, which my wife would be watching, And it makes her life entirely different. The last 5 years, she would have to stop what she's doing at 1 o'clock and run home because she wanted to see it. Now, she doesn't have to. She it'll be there in the cloud when she gets home to watch it. We have a question here. Do you know if Discovery Channel has ads?
Can I comment on that?
On
I don't
ads?
know if I don't know if she was talking about Discovery or Discovery Plus. We have subscribed to Discovery Plus, and it's a monthly fee, and it works I like it. It has a lot of programs that used to be on just regular or on Geo National Geographic Channel that now Discovery Plus has. And we watch Discovery Plus generally as our alternate streaming device. I have a question though I'd like to sneak in while I got the microphone. And that is, we have a hot stick.
Yeah.
And I can't seem to figure out how to hook that up to just get internet access. Is it possible? I got YouTube, I have Discovery Plus, I've got all this other stuff, but I can't seem to.
We ran out of battery.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear the full question. I'm assuming we're talking about a hotspot?
No, sir. The hot stick. It's what, an Amazon hot stick or something?
Oh, Fire Stick? Oh, the Fire Stick?
You're absolutely right. It's
Okay, no, I just want to be sure I understand what you're asking. No, yeah, I mean, the Fire Stick should plug into your TV. Okay, and you're just going to need to connect that to your Wi-Fi. I mean, Fire Stick and Roku, they work a lot in the same principle. I think there's probably Amazon has different channels available than Roku. Roku has different channels available than Amazon. So it's just, a plus or minus there.
I think most of those devices do require a power supply in addition to plugging into the.
Yes, they do.
I haven't figured out how to use what menu to find on the Fire Stick to get to my internet, the internet.
It's this way, Chuck. Once you plug in that Fire Stick, you go to the system settings and there'll be a section on network. You toggle over to that and it looks for a Wi-Fi network and you'll have to give the same password you would use on your computer.
I have done that. I have Wi-Fi access to the Fire Stick. That's how I get Discovery Plus.
Yeah.
I just can't get on the internet and use stuff like.
The app you're talking about is a browser, and I frankly haven't seen a browser app on my Roku, for instance.
You're probably not going to.
Yeah, so that's another app that's not available on that device. You only can do the things that you have apps on that device to do, like Hulu TV or whatever. And I don't think there's any apps out there to provide you a browser per se.
Thank you. That's what I needed. Is there a way to get local channels on my Fire Stick, like ABC, NBC, CBS?
YouTube
Take a
TV
look at Lowcast.
or Lowcast, right?
And that should work. Okay, where are we at on questions? Before Chuck jumped in the head of the line.
Right. Any other questions as we're a little past our witching hour? I want to try to close it off when we can. Anybody else have questions out there? We don't have any more in the room that I'm seeing. Anybody online that has a question they're dying to ask?
And if you guys get questions coming up, I'm just down the road in Chandler from you guys. Feel free to send me an email, and I'm happy to, answer what I can. Or if nothing else, if I can't answer it, I'll send you a resource that you can do your own research with.
All the way to Chandler.
I know.
Yeah. So I will forward out the handout to everybody later today or tomorrow, so you can look for that in your inbox. I want to thank everybody for attending both today and throughout the season, and thank our guest speaker, Rob. It was very educational. It got me thinking about how many subscriptions. I'm afraid if I add them all up, I'm going to die of shock of how much I'm spending for all my content. But thanks again to everybody for tuning in.
Take care, guys. I appreciate the
Same time,
invite.
same channel. I won't say when.
All right.
All right, be safe, everybody.